A senior EU official has warned the Greek government to stop the alleged deportation of migrants arriving at its borders. Some migrants trying to seek asylum in Europe claim that Greek coastguards have forced their small boats back into Turkish waters. Others allege that even after landing in Greece, they've been taken back out to sea. Actions Greece has denied. The BBC's Fergal Keane reports from the island of Lesbos. A warning, you may find some of his report distressing.
On Europe's southern frontier, the guardians of the law are accused of breaking it. Pushing asylum seekers across an international border time and again.
Greek Coast Guard, this is Turkish Coast Guard. You are now pushing back the migrants to Turkish territorial waters.
Quite aggressive how this operation takes place. It's violent.
In some cases, shots fired in the air and into the water, all to intimidate. We've been investigating the stories of some of those who allege they've been victims of pushbacks. On June 10th last, migrants filmed part of their encounter with Greek coastguards.
No water, nothing. He will die with the baby.
Using the footage, we verified the date and location of the incident.
They
asked us why we didn't get a visa before entering. We explained that we fled the country, that there was no way to get a visa when you flee like that. With the war at home, the multiple problems, our exit is illegal. They insulted us. They made the sign of the cross. They told us to go screw ourselves, and if we came back, they would kill us.
Some do manage to land in Greece.
But that doesn't end the danger of being pushed back. We've heard evidence of people who've gotten ashore and been discovered by the Greek authorities, only to be taken back out to sea and pushed in the direction of Turkey without any due process.
Then they put us on the bus and took us to a military port, then put us in boats. It was around 8 p.m. There were police wearing dark blue and commandos covering their faces with masks. I could only see the eyes. They were armed with weapons. Then we arrived at a location at around midnight. They put us all in one boat. After that, we realized we were in regional Turkish waters.
Najma says they were then transferred to dinghies with no engines and allowed to drift before being eventually picked up by the Turkish Coast Guard. Greece already hosts thousands of refugees who are applying for asylum in the EU. But campaigners say it's breaking international law by forcing others back.
All of these are international obligations that have to be kept by Greece. But also it's EU law that is that is violated, because the right to asylum, to seek asylum, is also in the EU chapter of fundamental rights.
Since these scenes 6 years ago, sentiment has hardened against migrants in Europe. And the EU is accused of turning a blind eye to abuses because Greece is keeping migrants out. Some boats from the EU's own border agency are even accused of helping with pushbacks. But now a top EU official has told the BBC pushbacks defy its core values and must stop.
I think these are violations of our fundamental European values. And when we are protecting our borders, we are protecting our values. It's because of our values, because of that we are defending fundamental rights. And that's why we can't see violations of fundamental rights going on without having a proper response to that.
We asked for an interview, but the Greek Migration and Asylum Ministry declined. It has repeatedly denied that pushbacks take place. That denial will be challenged if the EU is serious about ending abuses on its borders. Fergal Keane, BBC News, Lesbos.
Well, joining us now is the United Nations Special Rapporteur on the Human Rights of Migrants, Felipe González Morales. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Do you have any doubt that Greece is doing pushbacks?
I don't have doubts at all. From my office, we have been monitoring the situation for over a year now, and have made repeated calls to Greece to stop this practice. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, I presented a report to the Human Rights Council of the United Nations about the practice of pushbacks at the global level, and this includes a specific mention of the role of Greece in this regard.
We heard in our report a claim, some say the EU is turning a blind eye to this. We heard there from the EU Commissioner who said that protecting EU borders is also about defending values and that this must not happen. What do you think about the line the EU takes on this?
Well, I think that the EU definitely should have a much stronger stake on this issue. I have seen at the Human Rights Council the countries, specific countries, defending themselves, such as Greece itself, but I haven't seen a strong role of, on the part of the European Union in terms of monitoring and investigating the violations and also trying to make a stronger case for having also receiving asylum seekers in countries other than those in the Mediterranean coasts.
You mentioned the report that you submitted to the United Nations. What does it conclude in terms of the legality of what Greece is doing and what sanctions there could potentially be to prevent this?
Well, the pushbacks are a practice against international law. It implies that people cannot exercise their right to seek asylum, nor they can have a due process for the allegations that or petitions that they may want to make. So that's very clear from the point of view of international standards and norms. My office as such cannot issue any sanctions, but what I can make is to do calls to the international community, the United Nations, the regional organizations, so they take a stronger action in this regard by monitoring, investigating, and calling the state to sanction the responsible or changing its policies when necessary.
If that doesn't happen, though, I mean, can Greece be held to account for what is happening here?
Well, I hope that the international community will take a stand in this regard. When I presented my report, the civil society, a broad coalition of civil society organizations, made a call to the United Nations Human Rights Council to create a specific monitoring body on the issue of pushbacks. So I expect that will view and that will have an impact on the behavior of Greece as well.
Thank you very much for joining us, Felipe González Morales.
Thank you.
Thank you.